Okay, so I'm just going to take a few minutes and fill you in on what's going on with VITA as soon as the cameraman. By the way, the cameraman is my son, Trevor. So the pressure's on him to see what kind of videos we get out of these. He's got some great stills, too, that we'll post as well, so we'll cover that at the close. So it was nice watching the presentations because most of the things I was going to update people on pretty much were covered throughout presentations. In fact, I need to borrow some slides from you and Ivan there, Steve, and some others. But they did a pretty good job of talking about things. So I'm just going to kind of summarize real quick what's been going on the past year. I took over as executive director from Ray. Ray's now chairman of the board. And I went through the process of watching John and Lolly retire, and I miss them dearly, and I'm sure we all do. And Lolly's considered the heart of the organization, and John was the brains. So I've had to work to fill that in, and I'm going to talk about that for a little bit. We brought Jing Kwok back to the industry here, so he's my technical director for VITA and runs the VSO meetings. And it was nice because his learning curve was fairly short, even though we were turning on some new tools and everything else at the same time. He was able to very quickly keep the process rolling. We've got our emails to John down to maybe just once a month or something right now, I think. So John's stepping back. Lolly's actually packed up and moved to Denton, Texas. So if you're ever driving down I-35, she's just off the freeway there in Denton on the Robinson Avenue exit. I still get a ton of emails for Lolly asking for help and stuff. So I'm Lolly on some of those replies. But her email's officially been shut off a couple of months ago. So things, if you're trying to get a hold of Lolly, I'll give you her personal email address, but she's not handling VITA questions anymore. Our technology roadmap, I got to realizing we need to do a little work on updating this and branching out into some other things. Our basic backplane technology roadmap remains the same. We keep moving towards the VPX and the optical end of the spectrum. But I realize we now need to start doing some roadmaps. We need to talk about this VSO meetings this week and over the next few months. We need to roadmap a few other places to make it easier for guys like Patrick and Ben to implement some of our stuff in their plans as well. So we'll continue to work on that. I've always kind of put this slide together. I don't want you to read these. These are not to indicate, I don't want you to see the details on it. The idea is to indicate the breadth of stuff that we're working on. There's a lot of different activities going on within VSO. New things keep coming up. Old things keep coming up. We have a constant stream of activity that's keeping the working groups very active. And the VSO meeting attendance is very strong, and we continue to work forward with it. This is just kind of a list of some of the working groups that are fairly active right now, and there's a few others that are in various stages, but we've got everything from going back to VITA 17, the front panel data port stuff that Roger mentioned. There's work that needs to be done on that to bring that up to code with fiber optics. We've got VITA 42, which is the XMC modules. We just got done re-ratifying that and doing a couple of tweaks to it. VITA 46 is the interoperability for VITA. We've got some good stuff going on. There's actually another working group for VITA 80 that's working on the more details on that. So I'm not going to go through each one of these, but you can see we got quite a few of them that the groups are very active. They hold regular conference calls. We discuss the details, and we have working group meetings here at the VSO meetings, which are going on for the next couple of days. So there's just a lot of stuff. One thing I would like to point out, and sorry, Greg, I didn't get you quite the top billing, but Greg worked on this VPX tutorial. It's an awesome place a PowerPoint slide set to go to learn about VPX. It's there for the community to use, the industry to use. If you need to share those slides, use them in presentations. They're on the VITA website. Greg is constantly making tweaks to it, and we review them at VSO meetings to make sure that the content is current and accurate, and we make improvements to it on a regular basis. So if you got room for what was that thing, pushing 50 megabytes now or something, or 20, just over 25. So I had to upgrade the service to put the slide deck into it. But so take advantage of that as well. All these specs, by the way, are listed on the VSO or the VITA website under specifications. I try to keep the status of them as current as possible. So if you need to get a quick snapshot of those, they're sitting there. So some of the objectives that I set for myself when I took over here at VITA as the executive director is I want to continue to promote VITA as the place to bring new standards. We've got a really nice process in place through the VSO, so it makes it easy for people to run things through the process. I've been getting a lot of inquiries. I've seen a bit of an uptick over the last few months of new organization, new interest in doing new things. I unfortunately got kind of bogged down in some of the mechanical details last year, but I also want to increase the marketing activities. We launched the VNX Marketing Alliance. We need to get back on working on some of the other alliances too, like VPX and some of the others that we have established. Also continue to look at new services that we might be able to offer to our members. So I've been talking to a lot of you on ideas on things we can do to make it even easier to develop our ecosystems and promote the technologies and so on. So I'm continuously working on that. That's one of my pet areas. And I'm also trying to work to expand the international visibility. I do get a lot of inquiries from Europe and Asia. The Asian activities really picked up a lot over the last few years. I'm kind of surprised. In fact, I just got one this morning that said, "Who's your Chinese liaison?" So, because I can't speak English and I don't know how to deal in U.S. dollars. And I'm like, oh, crap, now what am I going to do? So, and then the other thing we're working on is keep that VSO pipeline full, because that's kind of the heart of the whole organization. If we don't have that kind of activity going, we might get ourselves into a problem there. So we want to continue to fill the pipeline. Optical, I think, is going to keep us busy for quite some time. Small form factors are all over the place. There's a lot of work we can do there. And then continue to research new areas. There's a lot of stuff with sensor technology going on. There's a lot of stuff with customization and stuff that's going on as well. So we've got plenty of a green field there to work from. So one of the things I had to do with John and Lolly leaving, I had to find ways to automate a lot of the work they were doing. It was time to move into the next generation of tools. VITA was one of the first companies to actually have a website, to have a product directory, do a lot of that stuff. But it was time to keep moving on. John had crafted a lot of those tools by hand, which I thought was going to be a bit of a nightmare. So if something ever happened to me, who's going to maintain it? I can't even maintain all the stuff that John did. So we took the conscious decision to bring in some off-the-shelf types of tools to make this whole process easier. It's a little bit complicated from the user side, and I'm working on fixing that. But right now we have two systems. We have the traditional VITA website, and that's now managed by a company or a tool called Wild Apricot that's a membership management tool. And it's really cool because now I can build web pages. I don't have to sit there and learn HTML. It helps to know it, but I can use tools that are browser-based, and I can quickly update pages, change pages, add pages, change the access to them, do all kinds of stuff. It also gives me the ability to manage the membership. The stuff that Lolly used to do, we've automated for the most part. I still got to, people call. Some people don't know how to use a credit card online yet. I'm amazed in today's world, but they still don't quite know. But able to collect the dues. It sends out notices. It allows the individual members to update their logos and company descriptions, which I got to work on some of you guys to get that done. It also gives us business contacts, because our first iteration was one company, one login, and you shared it amongst your employees. Now it's an individual membership. So now I know where everybody's at. I can kind of watch you. But it's fun because more people are engaging. We're getting a lot of feedback that it's a lot more useful for them. We also went to an online store last year. And this one's still amazing to me, that somebody goes to a store, orders a specification that says a download notice will be sent to you. And then I get a few minutes later, I get an email. It's like, how do I get the product now? I don't quite understand the logic, but some people still don't know how to do a download. So once in a while, I have to correct that. It gives us better ways to manage marketing forums. So when we're doing something in smaller groups, we can kind of build little silos until the group is ready to go public with their thing. So we can do that. It's great for events management. I can put up a calendar of stuff. You can click on it, register, pay for it, and most everybody's got that figured out. So it works really, really well. So yeah, we can do event registration. You can go get the artwork and logos and everything for VITA. And then some of the stuff that's pre-transition is still archived through that old site. So the second half, to kind of get to Matt's question, was we have the VITA workspace. And this is where we brought in the Kavi tools. And Kavi is well known in the standards in the industry for providing really good tools for allowing collaboration. So we went to Covey. It was a big, big step for us because John had been fine-tuning and handcrafting stuff for 20 plus years, and we all knew it inside out. We knew where things were and everything, but there was a lot of years grinding in the background when he was doing all that stuff. So we bit the bullet and switched over to Covey. It took us a few months to move all the most of the documents over, move our processes over, and we had to change the way we do work a little bit to kind of line up with the industry. But the problem is I also have to have an individual log in over there. So sometimes you log in one side to do one thing and log in the other side to do the other thing. The VITA website's mostly for the marketing and the person that has to pay the bills. The workspace side is mostly for the engineering types that want the technical information. That's the way I kind of distinguish between the two. But once you're logged into the workspace, you can go in, you can sign up for whatever working group you're interested in. So you can pick, there's a whole list of them. You can see them all, you can visit just certain ones. Because some people, you get automatic email all the time, and some people don't want everything. It just floods your mail. Like Dean, he gets everything that goes out, so he gets a lot of emails some days. But sometimes you're just interested in VITA 65, so you sign up for that and you're good to go. It has the ability to reach out and hit technical contacts. It does our document management. So now everything is archived automatically. It's not John posting it or somebody posting it. It's all done automatically. Individuals can post it and it goes into the right places. We can do all our balloting. We can take meeting attendances. We can have technical forums. The working groups can have their own little calendars. And then the approved specifications are downloaded there for the membership to gain access to. So they have unlimited access to the specs. Where on the public site, there's the shop, and people that want to purchase the spec can get to it there. There's still a lot of things we're making. I'm constantly tweaking it. And if you have inputs as you're using it, I'd love to have it because I like to play with that stuff and optimize it as much as possible. So don't be shy about bringing that stuff to my attention.